Remnant 2 is the sequel to the best-selling game Remnant from the Ashes. Why they didn't call it anything else, I don't know, but I also don't care, because it's fun. Anyway, in this game you take the role of an interdimensional terrorist wreaking havoc, turning dead gods into guns. Also, yeah, spoilers for the entire game. I love the first Remnant. It had the not-so-common thing of fighting giant monsters with guns. Most other games with giant monsters just have you slap them with a sword or something. But no, in this game you get to shoot them, and that's fun, because I like guns. Now, instead of doing the thing where I tell you the story events beat by beat, I kind of can't do that, because the whole game is very randomized. That's like the Remnant thing. The games are different each time you play them, but mostly. In Remnant from the Ashes, the order you went to the worlds was the same, and the main characters and events and all that. The only random generation was, well, the generation of the worlds and the, mini-bosses you fight, which kind of go together, because, In Remnant 2, there's a lot more randomness. Each world you visit can have multiple different storylines, the order in which you visit those worlds can be different, and, there's just a ton of stuff to do in the game. The story. So, if you want to know the actual story, you arrive at the ward and then embark on a quest to save the multiverse, which is basically the same as the first when you boil down to the basics, except in the first you fight to save Earth. If you're playing this game for the story, you're a lost cause, dude. That's... no, the story is not the main selling point of this game, honestly. Okay, so when it comes to Remnant, one of the main things is the worlds and the random generation about them. So I'm going to go over those first, and then we'll go over the plethora of other stuff, because my god, this game is packed with just a ton of stuff. Going to be going left to right in the order of the worlds. Yeah, so let's start this out with Yeisha. Yeisha was once a bright and vivid jungle. Oh my god, Yeisha was once a bright, vivid jungle with a lot of, cool stuff going on. The natives of this world are the Pan, which are basically just goat people. You can find one of them in Ward 13, named Dwell. That's not really a name. You can also find the Flautist in the storylines, the Empress and her advisor, and then finally this guy. I don't know his name, to be honest, all in Yeisha. For this world, there are two main storylines you can have, the Empress storyline and the Ravager storyline.
Yeah, no, you'll think I'm joking when I say a game is racist, but no, this is actually just targeted harassment right now. Ow. Thank you. Finally, he's changed targets. I have a moment. Are you kidding me? Oh my god.
Those are the names I gave them. I don't know if they're like the official names, but I also don't care enough, so. The Empress storyline has you kill the abomination for the Empress, and that's really it. And the Ravager storyline has you hunt down the Ravager and either kill it and save the dough, or kill the dough and just join it. In terms of design, I really like Yeisha, despite the root having invaded and making all the, the rootness present. It's got very nice colors, it's got very nice, just areas. The enemies of Yeisha come in two different flavors. In the forest and in the ruins. In the forest, you get little meatballs that are so annoying. They were meatballs in the first game. They are not half as annoying as this thing, okay? These things, oh my god, I could go on for how much I hate these things, but I'm not going to. But all you need to know is that if you see a bunch of them, you better have, like, a bomb. There's these root-infected enemies from the first game. I don't remember what they're called. I don't even know their name. I just call them root snakes. That's what they are. And then there's a root snake that is beefier and can launch bombs at you, which is really annoying. There's a mini version of one of the bosses of the world, and then there's flying things. I don't know what they're called. I just call them annoying orange flying things, or some combination of orange flying annoying. And for the other area, the ruins, most of this is just dudes with guns. What else? Yeisha's pretty. I hate the root. Yeah, no, that's all I have in my notes, really. I like the look of it, and some of the enemies are cool, and some are annoying. That's like everything in this game. For Yeisha's final bosses, and this is important, because if you get the Empress storyline, it will be the Corruptor, and if you get the Ravager storyline, it will be, take a guess. Take a guess what the fun, it's the Ravager. The Corruptor is not a boss I like. There's no bad bosses in the game, but in terms of like ranking on a tier list, this one would be down in F. Like, just flat out bottom of the barrel. I dislike this a lot. And it's not because it's a bad fight, it's just because the rock thing is so annoying and tanky, and then when you down the rock thing, that's supposed to be your big damage window on the Corruptor, but then like a ton of tiny little bats just come in and attack you, and it's so annoying, dude. The Corrupted Ravager is a very fun fight. It has attacks that close gaps and attacks that make you run away from it, just kind of alternating. Not alternating all the time, you know what I mean. It's very fun. There's a also these pillars that he can destroy, and if he does this whirlwind attack and you are not near a pillar, may God be with you, man. You're you're screwed. Also, I forgot to mention this. The Ravager was in the first game. He was the final boss of Yeisha, and he's back because the root was like, yo, dude, you're kind of dying. You wanna live? The Ravager's like, and there was like, alright, cool. Now for the not final bosses, there's Keula, Legion, and also Mothermind, which is an optional boss sometimes. Mothermind, I can give her another kid. Okay, so I like Keula.
Let me solo her.
The fight is very fun. It is entertaining, to say the least. The arena is a little bit annoying because you have this water that if you don't know the path, which I'm going to say this, if you can't figure out where will be deep water and where will not be deep water, you are kind of just stupid, okay? The fight's fun. The attacks are cool. There's this tentacle mid-phase that happens at thirds of health. Legion. I dislike Legion. The mechanic of the boss is that you stand out in the open to deal damage, but you also get stacks of madness, which deal damage to you over time and will eventually kill you. So Yeisha is a cool middle ground world, I'd say. It's, you know, it's not the best, not the worst. It's got good highs, bad lows.
Watch him be right next to the exit. Wouldn't that be funny? Wherefore art thou, go to man? Are you kidding?
It's kind of there. It's mid. I'm gonna say it. It's mid, but that's not bad. Okay, many people interpret mid as being bad, but no, mid is literally just average. Like it's not good or bad. It's just mid. Next up on the worlds, at least in my list, is Neyrud. Neyrud is very Alien 1979, and I mean that in the sense that it's like a horror game trying to get through this place. Like the barren wastelands are barren and makes me uneasy, and the facilities are very claustrophobic and sometimes annoying to get through. I'm not gonna lie, but the wastelands, like I said, are a bit boring, but the buildings with the future is that I'm rehashing what I just said. Why do I have this in the script? Who wrote this script? Whoever did is stupid. In the storylines of Neyrud, there's the Guardian and the Slugface dude. In the Guardian storyline, you have to get a bunch of keys and then go shut down the core. After doing that, you'll have a limited time to complete whatever you want to do on Neyrud before it goes into Lepsis Tora for good. At which point, the only place you'll be able to go is Lepsis Tora, and that's where you can get the Void Heart. Also, in this storyline, there is an alternate boss fight where you get a thing that allows you to fight the physical form of the Guardian, and killing it will literally destroy Neyrud and make you unable to return until you re-roll your campaign or start an adventure. For Slugface Dude, you find a thing and then fight Slugface Dude. That's it. Also, Neyrud doesn't get sent into a black hole or just destroyed, so you can do whatever you want for as long as you want. I have made a resolve to always destroy Neyrud when given the chance because I think it's funny. For the final bosses of Neyrud, there's Talratha and Shahala. Very neat names, I must say. Talratha is Slugface Dude, and his fight is rather easy, subjectively speaking, of course, because I'm just goated at this game. But, you know, he has very basic attacks, very simple, easy to dodge attack. He's probably one of the easier final bosses in the game, and by final I mean like world boss. Shahala, Guardian of Neyrud, is easily like top 3 boss fights for me. It is so fun, I love it. At least in the physical form, which is the alt kill that destroys Neyrud, but, you know, spec lane's bad. Shahala, I'd say, is actually unfair at times, because he has this black hole move where he slams down the black hole in the middle of the arena and it sucks you in. I cannot for the life of me figure out how to dodge it at all. I always go down to it, which is a skill issue, yeah. I gotta say, like, my actual favorite part is the music, but I will touch on that later, so, you know, be ready, but I'm gonna go on from Shahala. For the not final bosses, there's the Abomination, the the Space Crab, the Custodian's Eye, and the Ashcraft. You won't encounter all of these in a single playthrough, by the way, at most like 2 of them. The Abomination is a blob that is annoying at times, but it's a nice fight. You have canisters to shoot, and that stuns it, and it has armor that you can shoot off, and then use the canisters that it has in it to stun it, and then that exposes its weak points, so it's, you know, it's fun. The Space Crab is easily one of my least favorite bosses, not because it's hard, but because it's a coward. It hides in these freaky bulbous flying manatees and rains down hellfire, and when you kill the thing that it's in, it starts crawling over the place and hopping on you. Then you also have like a dozen other space crabs harassing you at the same time, making it extremely hectic and not in a good way. That being said, I'd rank it lower than the Corruptor, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Screw Space Crab. Screw the don't like screw it, but screw it. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, bosses. The Custodian Eye, it's a pretty fun fight. Its mechanic, or its gimmick I should say, is that it can shift the platform you fight it on, meaning it can give you cover or take it away at the best or worst times. It makes it fun and, you know, replayable definitely, because it's, you know, different stuff each time.
You should get up.
The Astropath is the boss I have the least kills on, I think. Actually, no, never mind, there's another boss. But it's a ghost that does freaky laser stuff. That's about it. I don't have any more notes. It's cool, it's fun, it's a freaky ghost dude. Next world, Lawsome, or Lowsome if you're weird. I originally liked Lawsome. It was the first world I got on the character I've been playing for, the entire time I've played the game. But over time, I have grown to absolutely despise this world. It is, in my opinion, it is the worst world in both games, and that's a bold statement, I will say, but I just hate it. Okay, that's how much I hate it. The design's mid. Okay, that's already a bad start. The enemies you fight, sometimes I don't even recognize when I'm fighting because they all look like similar. And despite like a dozen runs through the place, I have not found the Stone of Malevolence. I just want the stupid. Like I said, I dislike the enemies you find here because they're either the easiest thing you fight or you'll get stun locked and ganged up.
My one-handedness, I'm adding dodging. Okay, never mind. I'm just getting stun locked.
And then, if that's not enough, there's flying dudes that show up and shoot fire puddles which linger for like 5 seconds. That's the palace, though. In London, there's these monkey rat scorpion things that are tanky as hell. There's chainsaw bloke, and then there's this dude. I don't even know what he is, but he's gross. The designs of these enemies aren't awful. They're just mid, okay? They're painfully mid. In London, it's literally just normal people. Like, go to London, you will see these exact people just chilling there, okay? Maybe Birmingham. For Lawsome's final bosses, there's either the Imposter Kings, don't say it, don't even think it, and the Nightweaver. The Nightweaver did not exist for me for the longest time. Only recently, in my recent campaign plays, I have actually gotten it. I have awful luck, is what I'm saying, okay? That is just completely my luck, okay? You might get the Nightweaver every single time and end up hating it, but I have gotten the Imposter King. I've gotten them, and I have not gotten the Nightweaver as much, and I hate those guys. Anyway, the Imposter Kings are similar, but have slightly different attacks. As much as I enjoy these fights, they are fun. They are some of, I would rank them like C, maybe, like, they're kind of like in between there. They're fun, okay? But I hate them because I've fought them so much. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about them. Phelan, they can go screw off. I don't care. The Nightweaver, it's a very fun, claustrophobic fight, especially in the second phase, which this is one of the few bosses that has an actual second phase. It's very fun, I must say. There's an alternate kill where you destroy her heart in the first phase, and then you cannot get grabbed in the second. For the not final bosses, there's Wendell, Bloat King, Magister Dulane, the Huntress, and this dude, I forgot his Bruin. Is that his name? I think it's his name. Gwendol is just a woman who stands on a platform and throws bombs at you. That's it. Bloat King is fun but annoying. Magister Dulane is a boss I haven't fought much. I'm pretty sure it only can happen in the Nightweaver storyline, so that explains it. The Huntress isn't like other bosses. It's not like in a confined area where you walk through the fog wall. It's just kind of there in London. The weapon you get for killing her is pretty neat because it's a spear that you can just, chuck at people. And yes, you can throw it into your friend's heads, so. The Huntress is a very fun fight, with a lot of the attacks being easy to dodge, in my opinion. Druin, the guy from the DLC, I hate this guy. That's all I have to say, really, okay? Moving on to the next world, the Labyrinth. The Labyrinth is a space between worlds, kind of like the Backrooms, except not oversaturated with a million levels and monsters. Are you So, the Labyrinth is static, meaning it's the same in every playthrough, but that doesn't make it bad. Thankfully, it's rather short once you know what to do and where to go. In the Labyrinth, there's a few neat things, like a relic my friend had to grab for me.
God. Are you? This game is racist. Just grab the brick relic, please.
And a giant cube boss. The only actual boss in the Labyrinth is a bunch of giant cubes. Root Earth is the home dimension of the root. Duh. Yeah, the naming is a bit on the nose and not really good, but like the Labyrinth, Root Earth is static, meaning once you know where all the goodies are, it's free scrap. The not final bosses of Root Earth are Cancer and Venom. Very cool and original names, guys. Great job. Cancer is Wooden Cthulhu 2.0 and is probably twice as annoying, which, I guess goes with the 2.0. His attacks are timed in a way that just makes them really easy or just plain annoying to dodge properly. Venom is the build breaker, meaning he's the boss that will stress test your build to the max. Why is that? I don't know. Okay, I don't watch Remnant 2 content unless it's actually entertaining. So, never. Venom is one of the most aggressive bosses, doing attack after 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 attack. Basically, this is where all your hopes and dreams go to die because you don't know how to dodge properly and you can't deal enough damage with your rusty spoon of a gun. Now for the final boss of the game, Annihilation. This is my second favorite fight, right below my boy Shahala, and it's definitely worth the grind getting to it. This boss has well choreographed attacks, making any damage I take my own fault for mistiming my dodges, is what I would say if not for these balls. Now solo, they're not too difficult, they're not too hard, okay? But on Apocalypse with teammates that are stupid. May God be with you. Okay, we're done with the worlds, let's go on to the gameplay, which is the reason you're probably going to be playing this game. It's the reason I play the game, honestly. The gameplay, at its absolute core, you know, bare bones, strip it down entirely, is a third-person shooter with abilities. There's way more to it, obviously, but I'll get into that in a second. For the abilities, there are basic ones like make a puddle of healing juice and have more damage, really. That's like what a bunch of the skills do, just up your damage. When I first started playing this game, I didn't really use my archetype abilities because I play on PlayStation, okay? And when it comes to activating your skills, your abilities, what am I gonna call them? I'm gonna call them skills from now on. The only way to do it is to hold your relic button and then press another button. So it kind of, you know, it just kind of ruins the flow of things, in my opinion. Obviously, if you're playing on PC, you don't have that problem. You can just blink. Obviously, now I've started using them and I've realized how just, you know, how good they are. Okay, archetypes. These are the classes of the game. Each archetype has a prime perk that can only activate if it is in your prime archetype slot. Duh. Along with this, they all have several smaller perks and 3 abilities each, which you can only have one selected at a time, so, you know, chill out. So the first 4 are Challenger, Handler, Hunter, and Medic, and these are the ones you'll be able to choose from when making your first character. I won't be talking much about the secret archetypes, but once you unlock them, they'll be selectable for any new characters you make, and will be equipable in the prime or secondary slot for characters with 2 archetypes. For the next part, I have each of the everything for the first 4 classes written down. I am stupid, okay, I'm not gonna read that, okay? If you want to figure out what exactly these things do, go play the game, okay? It's a good game, it's worth it, go play it. But I'm just gonna kind of speed through this. Okay, so let's start with Challenger, which I would describe as the close quarters, you know, close quarters tankiness. Its first skill, useless. It's so just like, it's not even worth using, honestly. Second skill, pretty good. Third skill, absolutely baller. For the small perks, you get to have increased damage to things near you. That's really the main thing. Honestly, that's really it. Challenger's prime perk is that when you go down, you get back up with a different amount of health depending on the level. At you know, final level, it is 100% health. This can only be activated once every 10 minutes, so, you know, don't rely on it, especially during boss fights. Handler. Handler's thing is that it has a dog. This dog is very cool. It is a good boy. You can pet it and you can have friends and be happy. First skill, guard dog. It's neat. It makes you more protected. Second one, support dog. That's the one I use because it heals you and makes you faster. Third one, attack dog. It makes you do big numbers, so pretty fun. Prime perk for Handler is that when you go down, your dog will attempt to revive you at, 50% max health, and it can be used to revive allies. It has a 90-second cooldown, unless, of course, you spec into skill cooldown, in which case you could just, you know, be reviving and revived more often. But keep in mind, it costs a relic, so if you do not have a relic, you're screwed. For the mini perks, it's all based around your dog. You get different buffs depending on how close you are to your dog, and, you know, that's really it. I would call Handler the solo archetype if you're playing the game solo, which I gotta say, they added crossplay recently. You gotta just get a friend or two, get into the game. It's more fun with friends, okay?
Why are you naked? Oh, he's... oh. You suck. You! What if I do this? That's boring. What does salary even mean? Isn't that a vegetable?
Anyway, it's the solo archetype, but it is also very good in team play. The Hunter is specializing in long range damage and crits and whatnot, and marking enemies. First skill, it marks enemies. You do more damage to those enemies. Second skill, I forgore. Third skill, I don't know. For the mini perks, you get just increased damage. Really, that's it. The prime perk, dealing base damage, ranged weak spot. Wow, that is a dealing base damage, ranged weak spot damage. What the? Why is this worded so weirdly? Dealing ranged weak spot damage extends the duration of the active hunter skills by 3.5 seconds, can extend beyond its initial duration. For last of the starting archetypes, Medic, its prime perk, Regenerator, after restoring 250 total health to allies and you, it counts you, okay? Just keep that in mind. You regain a relic charge, which is very fun, very cool, very awesome. Its first skill, Healing Puddle. Second skill, Shield. Third skill, Mercy. Can I get res? Very fun, very cool. It is the support archetype. I wonder why. Okay, that's the 4 archetypes done. Let's go over the secret archetypes. You have to find them in these separate worlds, and they are secret, and they're, you know, just go search up a guide or something, dude. These archetypes: Gunslinger, make gun go pew pew more better. Engineer,
I am heavy weapons guy.
Explorer,
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am.
Summoner, have bots play the game for you. Archon, get mod faster, mod do more. Alchemist, professional glue sniffer. Ritualist,
Testicular torsion!
Invader. Whoop, shit, wrong game. Aside from archetypes, you have rings, amulets, and relics, which all add their own layer to the build crafting, and there's too much to talk about here. Okay, you can have 4 rings equipped, which, you know, given how many you will find, that is nothing. But it does make it a bit hard to find what you want. But here's a tip that my friends are too stupid to have realized. Basically, everything is in alphabetical order. Relics, obviously, you can only have 1 equipped, and they're just the press to heal button. But they don't all do that, obviously. The one I use, Shielded Heart, gives you a shield for 100% of your max health. And, alright, Relic Fragments, that's a thing. So when you start out the game, Relic Fragments are just going to be absolute garbage, and, you know, they don't seem like they're worth it. But over time, you will upgrade them if you actually spend your Relic Dust, which you will get a ton of Relic Dust, okay? Do not sell it. I don't care how broke you are. Do not sell your Relic Dust, okay? You'll regret it. Anyway, you go to Dwell, you can talk to him, he can upgrade your stuff, and once you get really far into the game, you can get, like, plus 20% bonuses, plus 10% bonuses. It is worth it to actually upgrade your stuff. Okay, rings. Way too many. I'm not going to talk about them. There are so many that do so many things that are either really powerful or downright useless. It's up to you to figure out what you want to use, because, you know, you play the game your way. You use your build. Don't listen to people saying, oh, you gotta use this build. You don't. Figure it out. Experiment. Use whatever rings you want. I gotta say, some of these rings look amazing. I want to purchase some of these rings as, like, physical things, because the rings I have are just basic silver ones, and the one on my left hand used to be copper. Okay, what else? Amulets. Amulets, there's too many again. A few of these are really powerful, others are just downright worthless. Okay, weapons. Way too many to go over. Again, there's a recurring theme in this game. I'm just gonna talk about some of my favorites. For long guns, Plasma Cutter, found on Neyrud. It's a laser pointer. It's fun. I like it. Monarch. It comes from the Awakened King DLC. You shoot a harpoon, and that harpoon makes your rounds track to it, and once you build up a meter, you do a shockwave, and you have unlimited reserves. Another gun that comes from the Awakened King DLC is Sparkfire. It is a shotgun that shoots fire. Duh. Aphelion. It comes from Shahala, my boy. Also Corrupted Aphelion, which comes from Dwell corrupting the Aphelion. My favorite handgun for the longest time was literally just the service pistol, which you can buy from this dude in War 13. I have since matured and realized the error of my ways. I now use Corrupted Meridian, aka Particle Effects of Be Upon Ye. There's also these 2 from Neyrud, the Star Shot, which fires a big bang, and then the Rupture Cannon, which is a shotgun pistol. Melee weapons. A lot to talk about. I'm gonna skip over like 90% of them. There are very basic scrap ones you can buy from Brabus in War 13, like this giant piss-off sword. Then there are special ones you get from bosses or other sources, like Smolder, which you can buy from Brabus after beating the game on veteran difficulty. Its special thing is that it applies burning. Very, very cool, very fun. Then another one, Spectral Blade, which you get from killing Spectral Shahala. It literally makes you Virgil Devil May Cry from the critically acclaimed Devil May Dante game series. There's even cameos from Cyberpunk 2077, Atom Smasher. It's a hammer, and it smashes. Then there's also the Atom Splitter, which fires a wave of, whatever, when you backdash and attack. On top of all that, there is more. There is weapon mods, mutators, and skill points. Okay, we're gonna blaze through these. There are very basic ones that just buff your rounds and give them a status effect, like, burning rounds. What is it called? Is that called burning rounds? Hot shot, sorry. Corrosive rounds, which gives you acid. Is that what it's called? Corrosion? Acid? There's ones like that. Then there's ones that make you shoot a beam. You can shoot out some space crabs. Pretty neat. My friend has that mod. He refuses to admit it, though. Then there's the weapon mods that are, you know, specific to a weapon, so you can't remove them or change them. And those, you know, you have to use them with the weapon, like Star Shot's Big Bang. But for, you know, the basic weapons, you can slot any mod you want on them, and they, you know, they mostly work. Mutators are little things you slot into weapons. They can give you buffs like higher mag capacity, or the one I like to use with Monarch, shots have a chance to return directly directly to the mag. There's other ones that are like increased melee charge speed and melee damage, or not melee damage, but melee attack speed. Okay, let's move on to difficulty. In Remnant 2, there are 4 selectable difficulties, and for a new character, you can enable hardcore, which means if you die, you're dead. The difficulties in order are Survivor, Veteran, Nightmare, and Apocalypse. As far as I'm aware, the only difference between these difficulties is how tanky the enemies are and how much damage they deal to you, which, you know, isn't the best way to increase difficulty, but I get that having like completely different move sets for each boss and each difficulty would be way too much. Anyway, as you can guess, you go through the difficulties, the enemies will become chunkier, deal more damage to you, meaning you have to have some really good damage output and some way to tank or dodge damage. Of course, you can ignore that. You don't have to go to Apocalypse. That is not necessary. There are things you get for beating Apocalypse, however, you can live without them. And if you just want a chill experience where you can go in, shoot stuff, fight bosses, by all means, go into Survivor a bunch. There's really no need to up your difficulty if you're not looking to. For me, I like challenges, so I'm gonna be doing Apocalypse a bunch. Okay, other stuff. This is the section where these topics couldn't be their own section, so I've lumped them together. The writing. I know I said the story isn't really important at all, and it isn't. The writing is okay. It's solid. There are some, like, MCU dialogue bits, like, there's no way I just killed that thing, you know? And some of the dialogue options you select when talking to NPCs is a bit cringe, but I can let those slide because I don't have to hear my character say them. Speaking of character, the character creation is somewhat limited. It's not the best, it's not the worst, it's just kind of there. Next topic, the music. It's amazing. I love the soundtrack for this game and regularly listen to a few of the boss themes while I'm doing stuff. I listened to it while I was writing this segment. I'm pretty sure I was thinking Shahala's theme, of course. And this is one of the few games where I don't turn off the music, and in fact I've actually reversed it. I've turned the music up and turned everything else down. That's how good it is. Aside from Annihilation's theme, which is absolutely baller, my favorite is definitely the theme for Shahala, Guardian of Nehrud, open parentheses, physical, close parentheses, because it has this really nice guitar part, or is it bass, whatever. It's got this part. I've already praised Shahala enough, but the theme for his, physical fight is just amazing, okay? It incorporates bits and pieces of the spectral theme, and it's really chaotic, but it's also not. Also, Annihilation's theme, the final boss, listen to this. The Awakened King. I was going to put this in the Lawsome section, but I decided against it. Anyway, it's time to talk about the
Remnant 2 DLC.
God, that clip is so stupid. In the Awakened King DLC, the king has awoken, obviously, and it's your job to stop him. Yeah, that's really it. There's also a ton of great loot you get from this DLC, so I'd say it's worth it. I don't really have anything to say. I just wanted to use the Mama Max clip because it's stuck in my head and it's incredibly stupid. Every time I think of Remnant 2, it's just
Remnant 2 DLC.
Okay, final notes. Overall, Remnant 2 is an amazing game that expands on what made the original unique. It offers a ton of replayability and challenge for those seeking it. I highly recommend you play this game for yourself and see the amazing worlds the folks over at Gunfire Games have made. I'm gonna give Remnant 2 an incredibly solid 9 out of 10. You know what? No, 11 out of 10. Its replayability combined with the fun bosses and all the loot to collect just make it something I'm definitely gonna be playing for a while. Like, I'm not gonna stop until I have almost everything. And there's more DLC coming out, so you know what? Huge. With that being said, I'd like to leave this with a quote from my friend. Now, he said this about the first game, but I think it still applies. Take any game in existence, shove it into one game, big phallic rock. Also, if this video gets 10 likes, I'll start doing challenge runs, starting with a Glock only, in which I will have no armor, one ring of the Admiral, restriction cord, and only the service pistol as my weapon. Now, with that being said, thank you all for watching. I've been Rat, and I'll see you whenever I get the next video done, which, you should watch the video. You should click the. You should watch the video. You should do that. You should click it. You watch the video, please. Thank you.